about being a while. I don't even know where the camera is.
It's
Oh, right, it's
it's
there.
it's
Whoops. Really? The moment I go live, I see somebody following. It's been a while. Hi there. Let's see if everything's apt and proper. I hope so. Jeton Elliott subscribe for 3 months. Wow. I mean, they've been subscribed for 3 months. Sorry, my bad at reading English. Hi there, Jeton. I'm incredibly unused to all of this. Hi there, Mystic. Wait, let me just adjust my overlay. It's been close to 2 weeks of me not being on camera, but here we are. So let's get on with the greetings. So we have Mystic. Ooh, hold on, it's moving. My bad. We have Mystic, Antarctic, Antarctice, SP Far Jeton, who's given the subscription. Thank you. We have Mystic, we have Axel, of course, we have Reagan, Fuego, Ultra Zoxy, and Jules, Libid, Blue Scale subscribing. My goodness, I didn't know you had money, Blue. I mean, I did not mean that in a bad way or anything. But thanks. Reams has plenty of room for your long hair. It's all about you and long hair, isn't it, Reem? But yeah, let me say I've been trying to troubleshoot things for the past 2 hours, and it most definitely has shown what I've been having as an oversight setup-wise for these Vives. My goodness, does it need so many USB ports that are dedicated? I can only get 1, 2. Well, right now I have 6 trackers working. Probably the limit of my motherboard, but you got the locks, Gebu. The locks. If you can expand chat, it's a bit narrow. Hold on. We can pan the camera over to Vesper. I know she's been longing for the show. Hi there, lemongrass.
Man, and here I thought I was gonna be undetected.
Of course, we have
I thought I was
Vesper.
muted the whole time.
And then there's us. Hi. Oh, hello. Whoops. Hand decided to not work with me.
Oops.
But yeah, that's here we are. Do this. This is weird. My left does not have arm tracking, my right does. What an unorthodox setup. Maybe I should have changed my angles. Wait, do you have your slimes on?
Yes.
Oh, right. Let's just double check. Hi, Cinnamon Bun, says Mystic. Well, there she is. I'm sure you guys missed her. Gray Storm. How are you doing? Let's just say after 2 weeks of going up and down from my old unit to the present one, things have finally calmed down. I've brought up the stuff I all need, and I've discarded the things that I don't. So the move is, aside from disconnecting my old internet line there, because I need to make a call, let's say it's 95% done. They're more than workable. More than workable. Hello, Vesper's elbow wave, yes. Hello, French fry. Elbow wave. What elbow wave? Do the elbow wave, Ves. Ah, yes. Cute.
It's because I don't have arm tracking.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. Hold on, hold on. Why is the let's adjust the aperture manually. Just focal distance. Narrow the aperture a bit. There we go. Perfect, I think. I gotta do a little bit of camera work. This is gonna mute my phone. There we go.
Ah, yes, I get to be entertainment.
Sorry, chat. Things are back. Promise. Okay, what's this? Why is my chat cut into? Hello, Sparkles. Unsurprising. Vesper's so pretty. Hi there, Echidna. Well, if it isn't Beth, hi there. Oh man, is setting things up truly a challenge. Getting things working again. You think that, yes, just rearrange things to where they are, and then everything should just fall into place like a Tetris game. Nope. No. Also, I'm trying to fix the darn cable to be in the back. Thank you, Seal, for the gifts. So yeah, after having a little bit of a talk with more of an email exchange with the landlord, we settled on the amount of rent I need to pay. It's roughly 2.5 times more than my old one, so I need to work extra hard in order to God, I hate saying this. Meet the bills. In short, it's a benefit for you guys. More entertainment coming in your way. Also, I'm pretty sure my audio should be coming in much more clearer compared to before. In my old environment, I had to constantly combat the ambient sounds that was going on in my apartment. There's the sounds of the aquarium pump, the sounds of my AC, which was very close, and this and that. Now I made sure to have the place like acoustically treated to the best of its ability. I am curious, Cinnamon Bun asks Mystic, would you get a Mukuri avatar? What is this Mukuri avatar, I wonder? Is this something you've
It's
seen?
sort of like a Made in Abyss style
Okay, so like a
type of
Nanachi.
character. Yeah, more or less. I helped one of Mystic's friends, take a photo for some sort of meetup. Didn't take too long.
Alright.
But personally, I do like furry avatars, don't get me wrong. It's just ones of that particular style, I'm not too keen on using them, honestly.
So, you're telling me
'Cause
it's
the
more the
proportions are weird.
chibi kimono-ish looking thing, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
So that's more of Mystic's alley, yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. Don't get me
Okay.
wrong, they're cute, just not my preference to use.
Completely fair. Beth goes, how are the fish? I will admit, for a passing minute, I was contemplating on giving them a new home that isn't mine. But then, because it's such a pain to lug up like aquariums upstairs, and it's and then like it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff you gotta bring up. I have my like, how many gallon is it? It's this big of an aquarium, and then I have like this big of an aquarium, and then smaller and then smaller. Long story short, I brought them all up. They're now nice and happy, and they're not underneath a bed environment. They're far away from my computer, so I am not bothered by the audio. And yeah,
no more risking freaking out over Wi-Fi thing. Remember the one time your pump failed and you ended up having to
my
blow dry
goodness.
it?
Yeah, the pump of the filter like failed. So I woke up. There was like a miniature flood on the table. And when I looked at my router and tipped it to the side, lo and behold, it had half a glass's worth of good old H2O within the circuitry. That kinda. Yes. Yes.
Not something
hi
you want
there.
to see.
100% not something. Why, Neon, hi there. Greetings. It's been a while. I've seen the recent art you've made. And I, along with 600 other plus people, most definitely like your art piece. Have you checked the metrics over at X? I mean, Twitter. No, not the router. Well, yeah, that happened. Put the camera. Wet on router. Hi there, Nordex. It says. Oh, right. You reposted it, so yeah, of course, more likes. Of course, Neon. You've been making so much for me for such a long amount of time. How could I not? It's the least I could do. If anything, I need to give you a bit of a tip when it comes to your commission prices. You make sure that the prices listed in USD is a direct conversion into PHP, not the Philippine pesos being 1/3 the price. Hello, I remember following because your voice is good. Hi there, Mr. Vance. Ironic, you say you're following because of my voice, yet you have your audio turned off according to Twitch. Yule says after I get Atlas redesigned to be more accurate. This for ref sheet and then okay, good luck. I remember posting a video about the fursuit and me, probably not a combination that'll happen anytime soon. Well. If it isn't Mr. Matthew Sunseeker. Oh wait, this should be like Sunbreaker. Interesting new additions to your VR chat bio, Matthew. Something about a sub. I hope that's a submarine, not something else. But nice to see you. I'm glad we were able to catch up, even though it was just a short amount of time before. It was much needed R&R from the hustle and bustle of moving. You don't need to comment that here. From Sunseeker to Breaker. Yes, Misty. Oh, have you seen Matthew's new thingamabob?
New fundraiser.
And so Beth instigates the start of the Great Reset. Yes, chat, it may seem as the great enemy, bills, right? That's written on the bar. But in reality, once that gets reached, we are going to have our little monthly level reset. I think that's a fun little thing. I've already established our little system of heroes and villains. Well, the Demon King and his subordinates. And each of them have their own respective perks. And let's not mention forget to mention the XP multipliers. I'm sure Blue Scales is gonna be amused with it. Yes. So, in short, once we... how should I do it? Should we vote? Or should it be on a whim? In exchange, for you guys helping me with my monthly requirements in order to not be homeless again, aka my monthly bills and whatnot. The thing I'm gonna have now. We are gonna have like little things, little event things that I've been planning. So we've been discussed already like the whole level reset, the level taking, the level giving, right? So like people can actually fight to change what's allowed on the server and not, right? It's still a nice little struggle, little power dynamic. And then one of the things I've been considering, Vesper, was having like an RPG bot. It sounds fun, right? The whole attack, defense, loot, and gambling, dueling, right? What's the multiplier? That's a secret. Just know that heroes have a much, much more higher multiplier than being a server booster. Oh, the highest multiplier of them all is the Demon King, of course. He who supports the most, he who has the most miasma and the most power is the one that's gonna be crowned the Demon King. I think that's only fair, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody say gambling. Oh yes, Bev, I'm gonna implement a little. There's no like actual. Let's see. I'll implement something that's for fun. The past month, my Discord server has been very much active. Well, with the likes of Blue Scale, Mitzi, Axel. We have Pink Jew randomly popping by. We have Beth, who I surprisingly saw in VR chat a few hours ago. So you finally did get it running, didn't ya? Oh, let's also not forget Nordex and everybody else who chats every now and then. Doran. If it isn't Drax, hi there. Oh, it's just me catching up with chat. I dare you, where's my name? I mean, I don't remember an Onyx in Discord unless you're named differently.
You
Fluffy.
might want to change your name on the Discord.
Are you Fluffy? Is that Fluffy?
Hmm.
That's a guess, a speculation. Hydrate you too. Oh, shoot, you know what? You're right. Where's my water bottle?
I don't know. Sure thing.
No, that's me, Floofy. Okay. You need to update your names. You gotta make sure what your name is on my chat is the same over at the Discord.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit. Something fell. Oh god, how do I close this thing? I had to update my name now. There we go. Matthew Bedbreaker. Matthew Sunbreaker. There we go. It's a good thing I didn't name him like Matthew Buttbreaker or anything.
Listen, that was my nickname during middle school because people rumored that I broke my butt when I literally just broke this leg, this arm.
Oh, right. Vesper was in a wheelchair for quite the amount of time before. I'm glad she recovered. What's this? Well, Drax, it means you just have to be active in the community. There's a reason why posting images and links is prohibited if you're level 4 and below. Because I don't want people just dropping by the server, like dumping art and then never being active in the community, right? Like, why are you there in the first place? Right? Are you just gonna share stuff you have? Like, like a showcase, but then never talk with the other people? That's not the place to be.
We're not a server for self-advertisement, so if you're just gonna dump your art and then leave, doesn't really look good on you.
No, I get it. Early on when I was still VTubing, starting as a VTuber, I had like 10 followers. So I would go to various servers and make sure that they had at least a like self-promotion channel. And then I would just drop my link but never talk to other people. But then I realized it's like I'm no different from those people spamming me, like in emails and whatnot, right? With the promotions, and it's annoying. It cheapens how you present yourself. So that's why I just don't do that. Period. If you find my stream, then cool. You shared the link. Maybe that works. Drax, what I meant was maybe it would do you good to go say hello to the people if you want to be more involved in things, right? Beth continues, yes, I got into VR chat, though I'm stuck with Fluffy and FBT is delayed on its shipment. What did you get, Beth? Did you get the official slimes? Maybe the aftermarket ones per chance? I saw Tiger Bee pet immediately. I thought Geb would love it. Oh, I do. Trust me, I do. The Tiger Bee follower is cute on itself, but like it's hold on. The Tiger Bee follower is just a static little prop that like goes around. What I need is an actual Tiger Bee buddy. That would be super cool. I went with official slimes. Beth, I hope you got like extra trackers because the ones that are they're called extensions, the ones that attach from the chest to the waist and then from the ankle to the foot, that's the weak point of the whole thing. It fails a lot unless you find a way to reinforce the cables. That's why I went with like individual trackers for everything. But when it works great.
Yeah, I was the out of the two of us, I'm the only one with who sorry, English. I'm the only one who had extensions that weren't reinforced. So 3 months in, or maybe it was even less than that, I started seeing failures from the extensions. So instead of 8 points of tracking with the ankle and foot and the chest and waist, I'm just using 5 points.
Yes. Her foot tracker has failed. She cannot like rotate her thingy-mabob anymore. And
nope, most I can do is this.
So until she gets replacements, you can actually order from if you want, right? For the foot, like separate tracker.
Yeah.
They're like $20 each.
But yeah, true. I just don't know if if people I'm buying, I normally.
Oh, the seller, right?
Yeah, the seller. I'm not sure if they're still selling.
Ah, shoot, yeah, you're right. Well.
Yeah, $20 each, 25-ish maybe, but yeah. Things to consider later.
Oh, in this angle, it seems like I'm like reading chat directly. Like all your little messages showing from here to there. Nordex says, I believe in you. Oh, hold on. Nordex has a very deflated voice. He's like, oh, I believe in you, Drax. You're just like a very deflated middle-aged person in work, It's like they're on their 15-minute break
nice.
from a... Oh, I was being nice. I was being accurate with my description, right?
Be nice.
Hey. I made no connotation that was something negative, right? You're the one who's thinking that it's bad. Because that never crossed my mind.
No, you're teasing him, that's fine.
Updated the username. Oh, there we go. And I have Fluffy. Spot on. Over-exaggerates the gasp. That's why I call him deflated. Very deflated sounding. A sentient tiger bee. Gam, trust me, you wouldn't want one because they're worse than orange cats. There's a specific tiger bee buddy that I'm after.
Screw those bills.
Why, thank you, Seal. Of course, screw those bills. Chat, it's not difficult when what I have to pay per month is essentially triple as much. Look, this is all new to me. I've never had a place that costed this much. I never imagined myself paying this much. I mean, look. No, that's it. There's no continuation to that statement. That's it.
I mean, yeah,
So,
when you
yeah,
upgrade
thanks,
from
Seal.
going to a small box to the space you have now,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't expect to pay that much more, but
Precisely. It's
why?
what Vesper meant by me staying in a small box is no exaggeration. There is only 3 steps worth in my old place in which I could stand fully. The rest I had to duck. I had to, I had to be like this essentially because it's like a loft bed, right? I have to maneuver and everything, crouch. It's terrible. It's really bad. And then when I had to sleep, chat, this is my bed, right? This is the level of my bed. How far away it is from the ceiling is pretty much just like this. So whenever I had to sleep, I literally had to crawl into bed and then situate myself. I cannot sit on my old bed because I would hit my noggin if I did. Yeah. Is it manageable? It just means I gotta work harder, that's all. In order for things to be manageable. By things, I mean the bins. Yes. It sucked. I've been living that way since 2020. 2019 is the end of my homelessness. Like end of the year. Yeah, 2020. So that's been 5 years of my back and the rest of my muscles suffering from bad ergonomics. Yeah. Well, at least I'm out of that.
Yeah, now
It wouldn't
now
have
God
been
doesn't have to
possible.
worry about a concussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been possible if it weren't for you guys helping me. So thank you. It was the first ever proper fundraiser I've had in my life, and it happened, and a stark reminder that there is still a lot of good in the world. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Now Geb can stretch. Yes, I am currently on my little IKEA couch right now. Sometimes my trackers will drift because I have past 2-3 hours, and including the other day, I've been trying to troubleshoot the whole which USB ports has a separate controller in order for it to not be saturated by the dongles used by the Vibes. And oh, it is such a headache. It makes me I guess that's the trade-off from going from slimes to Vibes. Vibes with just 3 trackers is okay, the chest and the 2 feet. But the moment you mix in the thighs, the thighs, the chest, including the waist, and then 2 arms, and then 1 extra on the head, things start to get a little congested system-wise, and they start doing weird things like flying off and everything. So yeah.
Yep.
I had to order
yeah.
something from Amazon. It's like the Starcom USB PCIe expansion card. It was luckily it was in stock. It was a little expensive. It's like $90. It's necessary. I thought I wouldn't have to spend any more on hardware. But well, here we are. What happened to the slime trackers? They're still here. I just wanted to see how my vibes are like holding up. I mean, it sure is 100%, 200% more convenient to put on than my slimes and to get it working. The slimes, with all their pros, which is, well, one, it works anywhere there's Wi-Fi. You don't need base stations. Two, you can have it even with, a blanket over you and everything. And three, they don't stick out as much. I could never really get my proportions proper. So when I would bend down, my feet would lift, and then there's a little bit of drift, and yeah, so on and so forth. And I need like at least 5 for it to be working. With the Vives, I take like 20-30 seconds to put them on and go into VR chat, T-pose, calibrate, that's it. That's it. I don't do my little calibration dance anymore in Slime VR, and then the it's just so nice. But again, it comes with a really, really, really high hardware requirement if you're gonna go past 3 trackers with Vives. What's this? I'm really looking forward to the new butterfly slime trackers. The butterfly slimes, if I remember correctly, they are essentially small slimes, right? Small slimes are something I've tried. A friend of mine, he's the one who fabricated the slimes I was using in stream. He gave me a prototype set of them. I think it was 10 or 12 pieces. It had a little USB receiver thing that I put up on top, and then it would just connect to all of the trackers. And it worked great. It was so nice because the battery would charge in 15 minutes and would last the whole day or more. It was ridiculous how little the power usage was. And I don't have to fiddle with Wi-Fi. But at the time when I tested it, there was a problem. I don't know what it was, or if they've fixed it. But whenever I would rotate past a certain point, it would snap. It would do that. And my tracking became unreliable, as convenient as it was. So I remember them saying it was an issue with the current, the ICMs. I don't know if it was the IMU or just an inherent little problem with the small slimes, but I had to return it after testing it because I said I can't use this on stream because my arms and whatnot would fly off for 0.3 seconds and then go back into place. Oh yeah. How was the house move? Let's just say it's the most exercise I've ever had in a long, long while. Imagine. So I live on the 5th floor. There are no elevators here. So I had to receive at least 40 plus parcels over the span of 2 weeks. Every single day, multiple times per day. From the ground floor to the 5th floor. So I surely got my Stairmaster sets in, yes. And yeah, not to mention I had to get stuff from the 3rd floor, which is my old unit, and then bring it up. What a way to jumpstart the cardio, huh? I'm gonna leave the stream open, says Neon, and go to bed. I still need to finish 3 comps. Oh my god, good luck, Neon. Thank you again for the art you've made. I love it. Always. I look forward to seeing the next chapter, your VN, next week. 100%. So yeah, it's every day, so I would go down 5-7 times. So that's 5 floors down, 5 floors up. So 5 times 7, 45 floors on average per day. Yeah. Around the 10-day mark of moving, I started having a very bad muscle ache, especially here on the like the trapezius part of the muscles, your traps. I think it was from me carrying a box this way, and it was like leaning hard on my neck. This like right, you know how it
did
is when
not
you
help.
you lift something,
Yeah,
It's-
yeah,
right, right, and it's
Yeah,
like, oh
yeah.
my god, I slept, and when I woke up, it's like my neck was locked into place. When I turned, it's like, it was so bad. It was very painful. You must be ripped. Yeah, I was ripped apart internally. Bro was not skipping leg. Oh, trust me. They feel so strong now. I was like, yes. Oh. Internally, yeah. I mean, all of the muscle tears and whatnot. I definitely felt it. The bad thing was, I only really got a full day's worth of rest after my body complained to the point that it wouldn't let me function. I wanted to move more stuff, but I physically could not. Imagine having to get up from bed. You have to do that, right? So part of your muscles here are working. I could not do that. I could not like roll on my side either to like that and whatnot. It was, it was terrible. I could not. I was having noodles for brunch one time. I think it was day 2 of the stiff neck, and it's like, so you know how you have to like look down on your food bowl. I couldn't. So when I was eating, I was like dead looking straight and then hoping the food would not fall. Yes. They must have felt like noodle legs. You know what's funny? My legs actually didn't die. It was the upper body and the arms. And the arms. But yes. Also, for the past 2 weeks, my sleep schedule has been quote-unquote normal. I've been sleeping at 10, 11 p.m., waking up at like 6, 7. And then lo and behold, today I fell asleep sometime 2 or 2:30 p.m., I think. And I woke up like 8, 9-ish. And I think I'm back to being a night owl. Just in time for a stream.
yeah. So, I guess Gab's natural internal clock is just sleep at night, awake during the day.
Yeah. I have a mini balcony
But no,
now.
other way around.
At least
Other
I can
way
see
around
the
for the
sun.
Philippines, but during my time, yeah, at least you could see the
I
sun.
can see the sun. And that's a big, big thing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you guys have really cheap masseuses? Masseuses? Masseuse? Masseuse? Is that how you say it? Masseuse.
I guess they're called masseuses.
Masseuse. A masseuse I know is like the ROG, you know, Republic of Gamers thing. But anywho, I have considered getting a massage, but the thought of having to walk outside on the street where it's hot to the massage center, yeah. So you know what? I'm just gonna lie down in my air-conditioned room instead. The sun, what's that? Locked, looking at one place like a lizard. Yes. So when I turn, I had to turn my chest. A challenging couple of days. Well, it was 3 days, but yes.
How many times have you already been called a lizard now?
Lizard. Ah. Did the thing. Of course I didn't do the thing. I have no idea what you
What do you mean, Axiom? What do you mean?
Mordek says the sun is the big nasty flashlight outside that burns you. Ah, yes. The
Mhm.
nuclear explosion in space that's been going on for ever. That is something older than I am. What's this? I randomly saw a short of you and fell in love with your content, man. Well, you better tell me what you're talking about, Lord. What clip was that? I hope it's with the recent model, this one. I have a dilemma, says Ludicrous Seal, who helped me fight the bills, by the way. I could keep watching stream or go to the store and get ice cream and watch stream with the snack. I think the answer is pretty much obvious. You get the ice cream, one for you and one for me. I would very much like a vanilla little cone, please. You know, with the chocolate hard thingy on the end that you could bite off, like, and then you could like suck the ice cream from. I used to do that, Vesper. So do you know when you get like the ice cream cone, like little things you have to unwrap, right?
Yeah.
And then you bite the end, the tip, the sharp bit. It has like a hard chocolate plug, and then you just start to like, suck it the ice cream through it
Yep.
like a straw.
Yep.
Yes, I'm not alone in
Yeah,
the little
I think I'd only do that. Like normally, when I was a kid, I'd be pretty fast at like eating the ice cream. But if it was like just too hot, the cone was melting, I just bit the tip of the end of the cone and just drank the rest of it and then ate the cone.
So yes, chat. Aside from my little video about me trying to eat a brick when I was younger, I graduated into seeing if I could use an ice cream cone as a straw. And you actually can. It was delicious. It's the recent model. Okay. Alora Ami says, you sound like a spell. Alora Ami. Right? I was the same. I saw TikTok here and I'm loving every moment. Oh, what? Hi there. Welcome to the stream where things are live but pretty much completely the same as the clips that you see. Brick. I bet if I caught a brick with my teeth, I could like crumble.
Let's not test how
I'll
much
try to.
extensive damage.
My,
Yeah, no,
my
don't try
brick
it. Don't try it.
resistance is probably not all that high.
Yeah, nope. Listen,
It's
if
just
my
that-
resistance to like say knocking my leg against a bench at where I work is pretty low, I think your resistance to bricks probably wouldn't be any better.
There's one way to find out, right?
Nope. No.
I love how you
No.
said it was a spell. Look.
It does sound like a spell.
I'm a scientific kind of individual, right? And the scientific method involves a hypothesis, which we've just done. The next is experimentation and to find a conclusion.
And
So
then
we start
sharing
in
your
some-
results, which I don't think that's going to be any different from,
Look,
say,
Vesper,
smacking into that sign.
have you ever been tossed a frozen ice cream sandwich? It is technically a brick. It landed on my face,
yeah.
right? Thanks to my high school friend. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, think fast. And surprisingly, I was okay.
Oh.
Here's your fictional ice cream.
Okay,
adventure,
so yeah,
Bugs.
technically,
I will be on my way then.
but with an actual brick, though, I don't think you'd be so lucky.
No, you're right. Oh, wait, no. Oh, it's not a brick though. It was a baseball bat. I got hit by a baseball bat voluntarily. So
Ouch.
I bought some new motorcycle armor, right? And I brought it to the office. My little boss said, "Gab, you look great. Let's test it out." I'm like, "Oh yeah, sure, all right." we're gonna use the bat, right? We have like a metal bat. It's like a junior
God.
league bat. So,
Mhm.
so here I was wearing the armor and everything. All right. Hit me. You know what? It dissipated the force. It was awesome. He went full strength. Yeah, I got shoved forward a little bit, but the thing worked. Next, I brought a stun gun to the office. It was the nice little AliExpress knockoff things. It was a flashlight and a taser in one. So it had the little probes on the end of the flashlight. And it was my boss's turn. It's like, I have a video of it. It's somewhere, I'm not gonna tell you where. I actually have a recording of the whole thing. I'll show you sometime. So I brought the stun gun, like the taser, and then my boss wanted to test it out, how tough it was. All right, Gab, hit me. Well, of course, I promptly put the electrodes in contact with his skin, and he started dancing around like a horse trying to buck a rider did not like. I mean, probably in fault with me not taking it off his body after he said just for a second for my amusement.
Oh God.
And yeah, you know how you're tempted because he's your friend, and you love them, so you tase them longer than they ask for.
My God.
And so yeah, it was a fun time. So, one of the perks I miss being in the office, we get to do all sorts of shenanigans. There's a guy who tried to jump a motorcycle. Please stop. Look, I don't know how. I mean, I'm definitely not a motocross rider. But after a couple of hours on a boring day of me watching those Red Bull videos of like 100 motorcycles going through this enduro ton race, climbing up hills, trying to clear logs, I said, it must feel great being airborne on two wheels. Lo and behold, I tried it. I mean, yeah, I ended up underneath a van. It was one of my 6 or 7 crashes in my life. But, for the second or so I was airborne. Oh. That's what they mean when you should spread your wings. It was nice. You know how sometimes when you're in a car and then you just go over like a downward slope and then your tummy lifts like, oh, yeah, that, except better. Why are we talking about the funny stuff I've done before? Change topic. Vesper.
Oh no.
So, how was your past 3 days in retail? Aren't you glad it's your break day today onwards?
Yes, I definitely am, because it's been like, let's see, last week and this week. Like last week, students were moving in, so it was really busy with people buying things for dorms and all that, because I live in a college town. So it was customer after customer after customer. Say you've merely cleared your line, there's one customer right in front of you. You finally finish bagging their groceries, you turn around, 3 more customers. It was really busy for these past few weeks. And I don't know if it's this radioactive shrimp thing with Walmart guiding new customers over to where I work or what.
Hold on.
Yeah, there was a recall for shrimp
radioactive
at Walmart.
shrimp.
Yeah, they were like fish from like hazardous waters, potentially hazardous waters.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I would like eat some radioactive shrimp just to clear that off my bucket list, right? Hey man, did you know I had some?
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to, because they were like grabbed from what? India, if I remember correctly.
India. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
Anything from
Yeah,
India.
maybe not.
My apologies. I've seen all the street food videos. The guy using his armpit and then his whole hand to like stir the little juice, and 100 billion% pass. As much as I love food. I love my curries if they're served in a proper restaurant. That's like clean. Indonesia is where the shrimp came from. Oh, it's better.
Indonesia. Okay. Yeah,
That
it's just
says-
going to check the freezer. Like, huh? Does my dad have any radioactive shrimp that I need to throw out?
Getting a car airborne is fun until it lands. Is that an offer for, like, if ever I go to where you are and then we try your nice new Defender and then we, like, jump over some sand dunes, hey, soft ground. It should be fine, right? Suspension should be nice and robust. If it's a vehicle
It's
that
all
lasts
fun and
it
games
all.
until you hear a crunch.
That's true. Look, the crunch is simply the snapping of excitement and triumphant accomplishment of landing the gem. 100%. Oh, hi there, potato. What is that? I thought it was some hieroglyphics at first. How else will you get superpowers? Exactly. You eat radioactive shrimp. You can have the worst posture in the world while using a computer,
Yes.
but like not suffer from back pain.
So Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider. Geb ate radioactive shrimp.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. How do I read it? Is it pyroglyphics or pieroglyphics? So it's either you're a delicious thing or you're French. Woo. I love the art you made of me, by the way. It's in the fan art channel of my Discord, if you want to see. Pieroglyphics. I see. Okay. Hold on. Maybe if I take the camping supplies out,
The great Gebus has blessed us with his presence.
keep it there. I like be inside your tent and hold on to your sleeping bag for like cushioning. That's gonna be fun. Why if it isn't? Let's. Greetings. Hi there, and thank you so much for the subscription. They are currently on a 2-month streak. Would you look at that? 2 months of being friends. So quick. I remember the first day Lit showed up in VR chat. Something I constantly tease her about. So prim, so proper. The whole by the outside where I had to go and fetch her, and I saw the whole like full body setup being tested and whatnot. I'll stop there though, so we don't like shoo away the person who just subscribed to us. Hi, Liz. Oh, why if it isn't my Caro Kaitastic Lean buddy? Hi there. I'm super glad
Hi,
you and I
Karen.
were able to catch up with each other the other day. Unfortunately, Vesper was busy with work.
Yeah.
So she couldn't
Well,
join us.
preparing for work, but
Preparing for work. Yeah, preparing for work. But yes. It was nice. As I've told Kai in our hangout before, how I am on streams, which is just a quiet environment and some ambience and just maybe a person or two, is how I really enjoy my time here on this virtual platform. I'm not so keen on being those massive instances with 30 plus people.
yeah, it's
It's-
overwhelming pretty fast.
It gets overwhelming really fast. If you notice me starting getting quiet during a group instance, that means my social battery is being depleted very quickly. And then I kind of want to hop off at that point, but I'm just being polite to others. That's why I'm still there. Yeah. Once the group starts being like 4 or 5 people, unless they're like the super tight friends we have, for example, Mystic, Mega, and whatnot, Axiom. Let's just say I don't have enough bandwidth for that much people. One-on-one times are the ones I like the most. That's a lot of people. Oh yeah. To be fair, I under my own volition, I do drop by the furry hideout out of curiosity and the 18 plus instances just to see what's going on. It's still the same. There's people. Hello, half fingers. There's people blasting music over their mics. There's some people talking about weird 18 plus stuff on the other corner. There's the weirdos walking up to you and what's the
We had someone like in an anime girl avatar with like a cat onesie on go up to us like, "Hey, you're furry, right?
Oh,
Can you buy me money from McDonald's?"
Not
Yeah.
like this.
yeah.
We're not rich here.
I just like fishing. I wish there was like an HD
Understandable.
fishing world. As much as I like the fishing world, there's not much to see. Yeah.
I mean, at least the Nova Beast I've seen him wear has an asset with like a fishing rod. So say we could probably bring him
Yeah.
to that one boat world, drive around, and he could fish.
You have to go with us to the sailing world. Oh, I need to
Yeah,
yes,
I
we need
found
to
it.
go to the.
I found it recently.
You really. It's different from the boat me, and Mystic were at.
Oh, it's the same one.
Oh, it's the same one.
It's
Okay.
the same one.
With the gliders and the story and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
It
All right.
was Finding Nemo, right? Yeah, I think it was Finding Nemo.
No, we were like going through like a snow
Oh.
sled at one point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the ice cave.
yeah, I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
that's-
that one.
It's that one.
Doran! My goodness gracious. Thank you so much for the subscription. All that carpentry must be paying off, huh? Speaking of paying off, it's heartwarming to see a bunch of people from my community start out as strangers, grow into acquaintances, and now they play games with each other, and they even hang out in VR chat now. Recently, I've seen Axel and Fluffy and Doran post pictures over at the VR chat pictures channel. I hope more things like that happen, you know. It's nice. I remember the first community meet I've hosted that was pretty big that involved these people and obviously people were hesitant and some said that they didn't expect much really from being in such places. They just went on a whim and now they're buddies with each other. It's so nice to see. That's not paying off. I quit the job. Well, congratulations. That's what I meant. 100%. What's this? Yo, Cheaty. Oh, it's Cheaty. Hi there, Cheaty. Thanks for the raid. And we're towing along 16 other people. How did your stream go?
I don't think Cheaty's like going whoop, whoop, whoop. There you go. Take the chatters, just yes, come on, come with me. We're going here.
We're going here. We're going to again. Mitzi says, we hopped into Beat Saber World yesterday. Doran put me to the test. I saw it. Looks fun. I don't have VR, but once I get around to it, I'll really get into it. Well, time for you to get a headset. A Quest 2 secondhand is not that expensive.
The
Gotta
Quest
hydrate.
3 is like $300 last I checked.
The Quest 3 is $300 now. That's cheap. I thought it was still in the 4 or 4 plus. Oop.
I really don't know. It's pretty much similar to the price I paid for my Quest 2 when I first got it. But
Oh,
I'm using Quest Pro now.
I see. I do not, I'm
Yeah,
not familiar with the
um,
market prices for the Meta headsets. What's this? Cheaty Bird says
Yeah,
we
normally
were
they
listening
struggle
to
for
two
time.
awesome beings talking wonderful content. Trying to flatter me, hi. Hey, you. I know you're tired. Go get some rest, okay? Thanks for dropping by. I appreciate it. I hope you have a lovely day or evening, Cheaty. Cheaty Bird. I can't
Stay
help
safe.
but think of
Hydrate.
Tweety Bird.
And yeah, Tweety Bird.
When she's
Like,
Cheaty
keep yourself
Bird.
safe. Hydrate, rest. Yeah. Do what you need to. We're not forcing you to stay here. We're not forcing you to do anything.
You make it
Thank
sound
you all
so
the same, though.
authoritative when you say that. We're not forcing you to stay here. We're not forcing you to do anything.
Oh
You know
my
like those
god.
propagandas on like those City 17 shit. Mm.
Listen, you know me. You know I'm pretty monotone.
I am forcing you.
It's
to
not-
stop.
Yes, I am forcing you. No. Nuh-uh. Mm-mm.
Okay. Well,
Listen, I
reading on.
woke up around closer to 10 and it's like 12. I think it's still booting up.
I gotta ask first though, says Cheaty. How was the move? Right. To those that came in late. It's 95% done. The move predominantly involved renovations at the same time. It wasn't the apartment was complete and then just me moving in. It was more of first week I was helping with the renovations enough to get my bedroom up and running. Once that was done and I could start spending the nights in, I could start finishing more segments of the apartment, patching things up, like finishing the walling or, oh my goodness, the plumbing that wasn't working properly because the gate valve of my main lines was broken. It was stuck in like a 80% closed thing and they had to shut down the building water just so they could fix mine. It was so bad. The landlord doesn't like maintain stuff. I had to pay for so much stuff out of my own pocket. And then eventually, since 3 days ago, I think, was just me organizing the stuff that I hauled from my old unit into my new unit. And yeah, and here we are.
Yeah. Big moves.
Beth
too,
says, the
but
guy
hey.
I'm training is back, so I will only be able to listening during air breaks. Alright, Beth, you go do your thingamabob with your guy, okay?
Mhm.
Thingamabob, what's that term? Stuck in my vocabulary. Where did I pick that up?
Probably from me, because my parents say it a lot.
I don't hear your parents. I've never heard your parents speak.
Yeah, because I
So how did
normally
I
mute
pick
when
it
one
up?
of them pops into my room. Because I say it. It's also.
Oh, moving
I
on.
don't know. I know where I picked it up from. I don't say it as often, but. Yeah. Anyways.
See, that's what we call a conversational tangent where just things went the other way and got like derailed. Anyway, Cheaty says, glad things seems to be pulling together. I mean, you streaming seems like a good indication of things going well. Keep on doing your thing. Cheaty, it's just me finally getting a bit of breathing room so I can finally go stream for you guys. I was joking around. I told Axiom that the next time I go live, I'm just gonna go lie down. Sick. Because my back will probably be dead. But I got my rest in. I'm okay before you go ask. One of the expensive things that was draining my wallet for the past 2 weeks was because my kitchen was down my microwave, my fridge, it was not in my place. I had to constantly order food from the outside and for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Sometimes I just skip breakfast to save money. It was just like brunch and then dinner. Oh man, those things really pile up when you like what do they say it in America? Like they DoorDash your stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ordering in is not cheap.
That's not cheap at all.
Like, even if you're, say, going there yourself to buy food, it can be pretty expensive.
Very expensive. Luna Arcana game just raided with a bunch of you. Either Luna. Let me guess. You're playing a game. Clearly not because there's like games in your name or anything. Hello. Reception must be weak.
Unfortunately.
One moment. Let me check Discordium real quick. This. Wait.
I'm still booting up.
Yep, 100% still booting up. I'm just double checking Discord really quick. I have a tendency to check if there's anything going on that's new midstream. What's this? Luna says, hello, and I had to show my viewers you as I saw you on TikTok and love. Oh my goodness, have I been showcased? What clip in particular did you show to your also lovely community, Luna? Color me curious. I'm not so sure if I should have posted my most recent vid about me eating the bread. It was just you discussing.
Listen, we all did weird stuff as a kid. Oh.
That's true. History of my avatar. Oh, are we talking about the species? Was it? Or that was more of a gag though, but yeah, I ate a brick cheaty. Well, I didn't eat it. I used the logic that hard bread, when left over exposed and left to dry, dunked into like a hot liquid, something like milk or coffee, it would soften, right? So using that genius logic, if you put a brick in your mouth, let the saliva run its course long enough, it would soften. That's at least what my child brain thought of at the time. It did not soften.
Yeah. Little kids are like scientists, but with less brain cells.
But that's how you gain more brain cells, though.
Yeah, that's how you get more brain cells,
yes.
though. Yeah. I mean, I've seen that in action quite a few times back when my grocery store switched from one link type to another. So we had the carousels, right? Parents would bring their kids, they'd be disruptive and all that, spinning the carousel because they were bored, or at least trying to, because I'd have to hold on, come on, buddy. I need that. They'd after time smack themselves in the head with it.
And there you go. That's how he lost street too. I did not do street. I have a super duper healthy teeth, mind you. Your family must have loved watching you lick bricks. I did not lick bricks. If you were paying attention, I put it in my mouth. Well, uh, my younger self never really thought about that, Katie Bird. At least I wasn't one of those kids that were like eating glue and well, whatever else they do in
Yeah.
kindergarten. That's cliche. Sponsored by
Eating
Colgate.
glue, eating craft supplies.
Mhm.
Man, I wish.
Oops. What?
Look at that. I wish he was. Like, he's got such a charming smile. Oh.
Oh, don't mind me. I'm trying to double check something. Would have sworn I had it disabled. How to check in Unity.
Hmm.
What's this? Nordic says, clueless ITA so he can hear his What? Iron Wolf says, I haven't messaged today because I'm lurking. LERKING. So here's your one thanks, I suppose. Oh man, I haven't fully like transitioned to the whole light out schedule yet. So pardon my rather slow cerebral processes when it comes to thinking of words to say. I get mildly sleepy, chat. But don't worry, I'm still here to read your messages. I hope that USB expansion card arrives soon. It said it's gonna be here like September 2.
That's not too far away, at least.
I'll see you around, Emerald Hazard. Good luck at work. Speak of work, Beth is at work. Man. In all honesty,
Honestly, even if
I feel like I've missed so much during the past 2 weeks. It's. Should I say this? A lot can change in a dozen days. A lot sure can change.
well, hey, world didn't end just because you stopped to do something else.
I wanted to stream since yesterday, but I said, oh, I can't. I feel so dead. I need some rest.
And that's exactly what you deserve, rest. Because number one, we've probably both had mental and physical strain. So it's important to rest up after that.
Yeah. What's this? So I swapped my girlfriend's lipstick for a glue stick. She still isn't talking to me. Worth it, 100%. I would have loved to see her face. It's just her lips are sealed. Oh my goodness. Go get some sleep. I'll don't worry about that later, Iron Wolf. For now, you have to bear with me being alive.
I quite literally woke up not too long ago, so.
Oh, yep. I see. I'm awake and today I'm making it everyone else's brain. Pretty much. Stuck with me.
No escape, ha ha ha.
Did somebody say, see, I acquired my ice cream. It was good leaving the house. Well, I'm glad you got me some ice cream too. I've yet to unwrap it, let alone purchase it. I haven't been to the Korean grocery in a while. That's where I get my ice cream from. Zane Fox says, Kamusta? I think in Spanish it's Como estás? I'm doing okay. Hey Gib, what generation is Forrest Gump? I don't get it. Are the Koreans the Italians of Asia? In what manner? I don't know much about Italians. The only real point of reference I have would be my one not so Italian sounding friend, Caro. I have yet to go threaten Caro with the whole ketchup on broken pasta before I boil it sort of deal and see how the guy reacts.
Mm,
I did recently make a connection on Instagram, or was it TikTok though? I believe their name was Flair, if I got the pronunciation correct. She's a Volper, nice pink reddish, absolutely Italian. I am enthralled, fascinated by her accent. She speaks by adding like an A at the end of her words. It's like, how does it sound? Welcome. It's always a nice to chat with my community. So already she like does that, and her content is absolutely wholesome as well. Yeah. I dropped by her live, I think yesterday, and she was as glad as I am when the hellos were exchanged. I follow very little actual people on TikTok, and Fleira is one of the streams I drop by in every now and then. Where did you go? Wackelbot says, I found you on TikTok and dug the chill vibes. Glad I'm able to catch the stream. Hi. Unfortunately, I am no longer streaming on TikTok. I've decided to completely focus here on Twitch. Having things not working smoothly because I'm trying to be on both fronts was getting in the way. Italians are the ice cream gelati people. Yes. So Geb, the husband and I were thinking about opening a food and game shop. Got any recipes you think we should add? Well, it depends on who your target audience is. Are you probably after some Chinese or Asians? Maybe some Eastern Europeans? That means I don't know what to serve them. If it's Asians, always make sure there's a little bit of soy sauce in it and rice. And it'll work. Or noodles. Can't go wrong with instant noodles. One of the nice things you can have is if it's a game shop and there's food in it, is to give those instant ramen bowls, right? You get them by the packet. And then you simply buy some of the frozen ingredients. You get some chives, you chop them up. You get some crab sticks, maybe some chopped chasu, like the rolled pork belly and whatnot, a raw egg, drop them over the ramen, add a tiny bit of QP, Japanese mayonnaise on it, sprinkle some Japanese heaven spice, and then there you have it. bit of frozen beef or ground pork works miracles wonders. It becomes something quite premium for such a basic set of ingredients. Lasagna, the answer is lasagna. E.T. says TikTok has a tendency to temporarily ban any furry accounts because of mass reporters. I try my best not to have any people that dislike me, but lo and behold, the world will always have those small subset of people with nothing better to do in their lives. To be fair, I don't really post anything, report worthy in my stuff. Anonymous just tipped 70.35. Oh, I see somebody went and cleared the decimal place over in my funny little bar. Thank you, Anony. That's the best I could do. I could mouth the word. Maybe I'll say it sometime. Who knows? Maybe as a reward once you reach half or... No. It should be at least full. So aside from the bonus I told you guys that's gonna happen on the Discord, maybe I go give us something special like I did before. If you were there, then you know. Why do you make food even sound seductive? Seductive? Food? Probably because I talk about it in an intimate manner, because it is my relationship with food, an intimate one. It just gives you authentic satisfaction, fulfillment. Best when it's homemade. Well, you're gonna have me talk about food again, so let's move on. It seems Litz is not happy with me not saying the MEOW word. Oh my. Not another drawn out session of saying, were you there, Nord? Oh, come on, it's just me stalling for what, 10, 13 minutes? Cheaty says, Twitch actually allows people to talk to you too. TikTok blocks tons of harmless messages. I just gave up. I'm glad you chose Twitch for it. That's true. The TikTok crowd is very different from the people from Twitch. I don't think my target demographic is over there. Lou Scale says, hello. My girl best friend my girl best friend was gonna play Peak with me, but it won't render for her, even on lowest graphics. She definitely needs a new PC. So she's playing on a toaster, but even something as simple as Peak would not render. Don't be tempted and send money to buy her stuff though. 10 to 13. You mean like half an hour to an hour? I don't know what you're talking about, Doran. Have you heard of the streamer MIAOOHS? No. Who just satisfies a person in ways that another can. True. And the variety of flavors you can get. The amount of indulgence that you could simply enjoy, whether with others, a group, or maybe by yourself. The things you could do in the kitchen. Hey. I can't even open Peak. Neon, you're the one who bought me the game. We haven't played yet. I owe you one. What plans are on the horizon now that you've moved? I unfortunately cannot do the whole maximizing the play space thing just yet because of my trackers not working perfectly. I only have 1, 2, 3, and one wayward arm one. I wanted to see how much my PC could handle before things start flying out. I mean, I can try walking and see if that works. But yep, I'm gone. I'm out of frame. Wait. Oh, wait. I'm still here. So yeah. Blue says, I'm not gonna send money. She's gotta earn it. She's coming over Friday to help weed the driveway. Hold on, let me read that again. I kind of skipped the message. She's gotta earn the money. She's coming over at Friday to help weed the driveway for 25 euros. Well, good luck to your girl best friend. Yeah, be a Fluffy. Fluffy knows what I'm on at. Vesper, I'm not sure. You may lack the experience in this department, but do you know the amount of tension that builds between somebody you hold platonically dear and at the same time you're someone single that's looking at the same time, right? The urges is sort of like overlap, and that's where friendships often runs into predicaments because one wrong move and things come crashing down. But on the flip side, it's also actually super fun if you find out that both of you really vibe with each other and you play with the whole mixed signals game and you go on from there. Anyway, moving on. Sorry, I like talking about dating stuff. Yes. Listen. They say chickens can't fly, right, Blue? But all they gotta do is try and flap their wings. White Iron Wolf says, the possibilities are endless for food, but the main ingredient that any dish should have is love. Not just for the people you're cooking for, but for the dish itself. Pride can even make the most simple dish like a 5-star meal. You know, that's true. I'm sure you've heard of the saying of what makes mom's cooking delicious, for example, or somebody, is the TLC that they add, the tender loving care.
Mm-hmm.
I think that simply translates to fine-tuning the taste. Some people will cook meals and just follow instructions and then just serve it. Now, TLC is like cooking and then dynamically adjusting the flavor based on how it tastes midway through the process. Like, okay, it needs a bit more salt. Like, the basil is kind of lacking. That sort of deal, right? Or
Yeah,
sometimes
just-
it's... Yeah.
Yeah, just don't do anything gross throughout that process, like trying the raw, like say if there's meat involved, trying raw meat.
What? Why would you eat raw meat?
Oh, when I was teaching my younger sister how to cook, like, oh yeah, taste it as you go. I had to go, no, stop. You're not supposed to eat the meat when it's raw.
So she lacks common sense.
At least at the time.
A
Yeah, don't-
surprisingly common case in society nowadays. Hello, lasagna man. Hello, Beep Boo. Ah, okay, Blue. I gotcha. Well, there's many more fish in the sea, so don't worry about it. My best friend eats raw bacon. Does dehydrated bacon, cooked like smoked bacon, count as raw? But I get raw bacon from a
No.
pack or like put on a tray raw. Yeah, I'm not gonna eat that. That's gross. But if it's gone through some sort of process at least, then yeah, I would eat it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Petey says, the thing with cooking is the ingredients aren't always exactly the same. So 1 teaspoon of one basil might be different than another teaspoon. Seasoning to taste is an important thing to learn. Yeah, it's more of calibrating things, you know. Oh, there's a little too much of this, so we add more water. Or like, oh, it's a little bland, so we dynamically adjust more salt. And things like that. Problem is I don't swim. Well, Blue, you have solved the first step of your predicament, and that's identifying the problem. So you now know what to do. Learn how to swim. Speaking of swimming, Vesper, I remember you telling me before that you were in lifeguard training.
Yeah, it was part of a grade thing for my high school's like water and land classes, so activity classes. So basically, half the semester we'd swim, the other half we'd be indoors. But not indoors, like say basketball, the works, you know.
So, would you call yourself a proficient swimmer? Could you rescue me if I'm like, I'm drowning?
Considering I failed the whole dive. I'm sorry, you're like a stone in water.
The diving part is me already being underwater and dead. I'm like somehow like I'm still in the surface. Like I'm still there. I'm in the panicking stage. Can you like tow me to safety?
They taught you how to like use the whole hook thing and like the ring that you just toss in the water. But not like actually like diving in and helping someone out. The school quote unquote certification is a lot different from say the certification you need for like a water park.
Oh yeah, of course, because
I couldn't dive. Since I couldn't do the whole dive properly, I flunked that part.
But could you, in an Olympic pool, swim from one end to the other continuously?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right? Yeah, you could. You could.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's safe to assume we can imagine Vesper as a corn-eared dragon over here in like a Baywatch outfit and just, yes. Because I think lifeguards, they gotta take all the boxes. Anywho, moving on. Prawn chips are awesome. Are these the chips that you buy dried and absolutely hard and inedible, but the moment you toss them under some like hot oil, they like whoosh, expand and turn into a crunchy treat? Then yes. Hello, Leonardo. Did you just call her a corn-eared dragon? Chat, I want you to assess and tell me that does not look like cheesy or buttered corn in the color. Trying to snarl to hide her ears.
Come on, leave my ears alone.
What do you want me to call them? Buttery. There we go. Buttery smooth ears. Buttery or corn? You choose. Cheese? Lemony?
Oh god, I think it's so much worse.
There has to be something we can name it. Like her zesty lemony ears or I can't help it, chat. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna show you what I mean. All right. So have a nice close look. Focus. Semi-auto. All right. You see? Look at it. You know how like ears of corn. There's a treat where you put corn, boiled corn in a cup, and then there's melted butter or cheese on top, like the little powdered cheese, and it's absolutely delicious. It's something very common here in the Philippines, and I cannot unsee it whenever I see her in nice little ears just flapping around. Looks like ears to me. Yeah, it does. Ears of corn, right? So yes, anyway, let's stop teasing Vesper. She's very... Oh wow, hi GoPro view. There we go. Let's get her in frame. Perfect. Topaz or amber? A topaz. Reminds me of the gem hunting days I had in Terraria. Zesty ears. Citrus eared. I might be biased as Cheety Bird, but what if you call her Cheeto ear? Cheeto ears.
No.
Or those are orange though. And orange isn't. Wait, hold on. There is quite the amount of orange, but that's her hair, right? And don't we just love the color orange? We will make orange great again. Oh, yes. Anywho, where were we? Looking pretty orange as cheating. Her ears look closer to orange than yellow to me. Blue, you must be something like Beth then. Who you should ask Beth about it. Beth and colors. Are you calling Vespa delicious? I mean, you're telling me she isn't. How can you say no, Chad? To whatever context that may apply to. Like enjoying a fine date together over a delicious meal, right? Can't say no to that. Definitely orange. It's probably the lime. What's gonna happen if we go? Let's see if I can work some campfire magic. Oh no, she looks like she's on fire. Never
Two
mind.
campfires.
There we go.
I mean,
but I do agree. It's simply the lighting that's making her a bit more warm temperature wise. Is the world part of your Avi? This? Oh my goodness, of course not. This is... We're out in the middle of nowhere, chat. Though I do have a bunch of props that I bring every now and then, but this is very much not my thing. This is what you call Hare's Diner. It's a lovely world that I frequent. Complete with like an eatery over there, a diner, and like a bunch of cars if you're into that. Vesper, kindly request Blue. Show us the Geb plush, alright?
alright.
There you go, Chan. Hold on. That is the Geb plush. A little outdated in design, but very much still the same amount of cutesy charm. Vesper still hangs on to it dearly, serving both as not a snack, as a nightlight, and yes. I have mixed feelings because said plushie reveals what I look like underneath all my clothing, and well, at least you get to enjoy the details, yeah. Yes, I have funny marks on my thighs and my side chat. For those of you that seen me in my swimming trunks, well, yeah, you should know. It's a wholesome plus. Mitzi has a funny little star before the name. That's kind of cool. The little beans are so cute. Yes, they are. Geb has been turned into a marketable we can't sell that. I just made a texture.
No, it's not marketable.
Yes. It also serves as a weapon, chat. It stiffens up and extends its reach to those that misbehave. So yes, you
Bonk.
misbehave in chat, you're gonna get bonked. Cute, isn't there? Stretch. Yep. You should stretch too, chat. Oh wow, the yawns. The yawns are increasing in frequency. Of course, Reed wants me to drink. Where's my water? What's this? Good thing that isn't the voodoo doll. The amount of things I would experience sensation-wise would be overwhelming. No time to stretch. I am shrimping. Are you telling me you're hunched down on your computer? You like this right now? Actually, wait, no, never mind. It's like the Discord mod. Well, you look at that. Our raider decided to stick around long enough to go subscribe. My goodness, thank you so much, GT Bird. Subscribe with Prime, huh? Shucks. Here, we shall put the camera on the Vesper. Entertain the masses. Got my eyes. And she's also out tabbing, okay? There you have it. The gaze, the look.
Look away, because I don't.
Make sure you're taking care of your back. You've only got one of those. That's true. Oh dear. 49%. I think just ran out. Let's double check.
Anyways, hi, chat. I get to be free entertainment.
Yep. Go look at Vesper real quick while I go swap out my little power bank. I do not play Tethered anymore, chat, so it's a bit of an involved process keeping my stuff up and running. There we go.
Hi, Reed.
Hi, this is Reed. The charger.
I can still see your hands.
I can still see my hand. Oh man. Oh, there it is. Hold on, unplug this.
Thank you, Cheaty.
Whoops. Little hands.
Hello.
This is so hard to do. Wait. Put that magnetic cable thing. There we go. Now it's charging. Okay, there we go. Done. Yeah. That's like mage hand in D&D. So sorry. What's it? Vesper, what was your New Year's resolution and did you keep it? Yeah, I never got to ask you that, huh?
Yeah, I didn't make a New Year's resolution at all, honestly.
Oh.
I don't really have any major goals at the moment. My only New Year's resolution was, okay, I'm gonna keep getting good grades. Because I'm a
And
student
that's
on top of
perfectly
all
fine.
this.
Yes.
Yeah, and hey, last semester, semester before that, good grades.
Oh, that's what you pointed. I don't feel sleepy. Says Neon, I feel sleepy. Yes. If you are a working student just like Vesper, then you most definitely do need to focus on your academics. As bad as that sounds. Because you only really get to enjoy college once. And what to say? There to say.
I mean, I'm not really the type to want to go partying or anything like that either. So, you know what? I'm fine just focusing on grades, working, and then whatever spare time I have, I do it playing video games. Especially,
there you have it. Vesper. Oh, excuse me, yawning. Vesper here is... I do believe you get all the socializing here in VR chat, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. Aside from, like, say, my cashier job, which is like 6 hours, 3 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, talking to people 6 hours straight is
I can imagine
kind of tiring,
that's
but then that's also different from being in VR chat and talking to other people.
You see, sometime mid-shift in Vesper's job, she joined the Discord call of ours. And we had a sample of how the conversational exchanges were. And would you want to give us a sample of like people checking out? So beep, beep, beep. And then would you like this bang? Then
Yeah. Like, oh, sorry to be a bother, sir. Would you like this gallon of milk put in a bag? And if they'll give me a yes or no. And, yeah, okay, no problem. And they'll just keep continuing on
forever and
with the
ever.
groceries.
A whole lot of hours, yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's only like maybe one customer that will show up that'll actually like talk to me, but normally he shows up like near the beginning of my shift. If an older man reminds me of my grandpa. So he'll often talk about like, hey, how are you doing in school? How's this and that, you know?
The small talk.
Yeah.
The little exchanges, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I work retail, so I get it. It seems Wallow for life gets it. Man, when you say you work retail encompasses several job descriptions, right? So it's either you're part of, what was your old job, Vesper, like restocking?
Yeah, I was GM, so basically I would general merchandise, so I'd restock. I'd clean the aisles after customers, so like sweeping if need be, reorganizing items, moving items from one aisle to another. Sometimes I'd even have to say, I'd have to get groceries, like especially ones that have to stay cold, out of the aisles as well, and report them to the customer service desk. Like, hey, I'd like to report these damages because customers don't really like putting their items away properly.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just thinking,
and I honestly just got really tired of cleaning up after other people constantly. So I just, you know what? I need to ask about getting more hours anyways, because my parents are like, Vesp, you need to get more hours. Vesp, you need to get more hours. So you know what? I just went up to head guy and said, oh, hey, I'm sorry to be a bother, but I was having trouble with. I was seeing some issues with the paycheck, but I was also wondering, could I switch from being GM to cashier? 'Cause at the time when I first joined my job, I wasn't old enough.
Yeah.
So it's
yeah,
just
that-
nope. You can't be a cashier, so you just gotta zoop, or sending you to the back. So yeah, I got tired of cleaning up after other people and organizing constantly, so switched to being a cashier. I don't have to focus on that as much as I used to.
One evil for another. Now you deal with that. Yes.
Now I deal with bratty kids
Mhm.
and customers who aren't too keen on being kind.
Well, Cheaty Bird says, I purposely have convos and tell jokes with the cashiers and store staff. My husband, myself, and all the local store people are on a first name basis. We help make their day nice. Very good. And they help us all the time. It's very fun. That's true. See, kindness begets kindness. It's such a simple rule in this world that
Yeah,
we live in,
yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm. Like, you don't even get to know the customer's name where I work. It's like, unless they, like, especially tell you. I don't even know the name of the guy who normally talks to me so much, but he knows my name. Because I gotta have a name tag.
Yeah, same here. I try my best. Sometimes when I get a food server, I know they're kind of like in a dour mood. And then they have the little name tags, right? Let's say their name is whatever their name is, like Vesper, for example. Well, after they serve my food, I tell them, you're doing great. Thank you so much for serving us food. It's that simple little string of words that can uplift a person and make their day, right? Because you make them feel like the effort they're putting into their job is all the worthwhile, right? I feel bad whenever they encounter snooty clients, that don't treat
Yeah.
waitresses and retail workers like they're not like they're beneath them or sort of deal. I wish it's behavior that would stop, really. End of the day, they're people just like you.
Mm-hmm. Probably making less than you, but at the same time, does making less money make you less of a person?
That's true. That's
I'm probably
very much
even
true.
you're probably even doing much more manual labor than you are for even less. So really, it's not that hard to be kind. It doesn't cost anything. So I always try to be nice to customers and all that. Sure, some may test my patience, but at the same time, we're all human. We all deserve basic respect.
Oh yeah. We have feelings and stuff, said by Wallow, right? Yeah. Also, Beth put the decimal back. It's such a wonderful thing to have. Let's Anonymellos. There we go. Let's go with that. Anonymellos. Unfortunately, your futile efforts of maintaining a very clean numerical presentation has been thwarted by none other than the bald demon king himself. Oh, what's this? Wallow for life. You know what? Your name has a ring to it. Wallow for life is giving 5 tier 1 subs to the community. My goodness. The gift of giving. Thank you so much. So young and already you have a managerial position in retail. Unless I'm mistaken in what I've read.
Me?
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
No, I was talking about our viewer.
Oh,
He's also
right.
19. And
Yeah. Oh. So he's already a manager, huh?
Yeah.
At least here. My manager is like, say, I've got one manager who's probably similar
Oh,
in age
my
to
bad.
me. And
I'm a
then-
lady. Correction.
Oh.
My bad, my bad.
Oops.
This lady here.
I mean, hey, she's got success.
Success. Great
Heard of-
success.
Great success.
Gosh, a manager.
Yeah. That's a lot of responsibility.
Makes me wonder though, like what is the pay discrepancy between, let's say, a cashier or a GM and then like a manager? I always think like it's a big step up when you have to handle people below you. But also you have to wonder
'cause
the amount of extra responsibility that's on your shoulders.
Yeah.
Also, hello, Minnie. I'm glad you could drop by. Hi. So we're just talking about retail work and whatnot. I have a follower goal. You know, I don't really look at the follower counts. It's more of like I look if I can pay the bills at the end of the month sort of deal. It's the numbers that matter, Minnie. What, huh? 5K? Am I really at 5K? I don't have any indicators of how many I have on Twitch. Wow. What's this? I heard we get an M or an R, but I'm not sure. What? No, you get that after this thing. What are you talking about? Omega War says, from someone who's been a manager at a few places, the pay is sometimes less than the people you manage. Really?
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that. I always thought that you are put as a manager because you have the skill sets, or rather you are familiar with the skill sets required for the people that you manage, aka you're as good or better than them at what they do. So you're sort of mentoring and managing everybody else below you, keeping them in line, telling them how to do things and you know what's proper and whatnot. Here's the front, Blitz. Here's the side, and then here's the back. I should like this. Hey, Geb, guess what? I made it to a film. Right, Minnie just started streaming yet again. Congratulations, Minnie. I'm glad you've made it to affiliate. The next goal is partner, right? That's probably the hardest quest of all. My goodness. 75 concurrent viewers for a whole month. Oh, all them big ol' sway e-girls that are dancing have it easy, don't they? With their hundreds and hundreds to 1,000 viewers. Beth said, sadly, I'm in the same pay bracket as the guy What? No. Maybe, surely there has to be perks in your position that the one underneath doesn't enjoy, right? You're welcome, Litz. Litz, here's a 360 view. And I cannot rotate my wrist that far. It seems the lovely lady Wallow has decided to go subscribe to Netflix. I mean, by Netflix, I mean me. For 6 months in advance, half a year of expectations, I see. Well, I'm glad to have you that long. Hope you enjoy your time here. Really. not much happens on my channel, in all honesty. It's just passing conversations and snippets of life. To confirm, Geb is Netflix. No, I am anything but Netflix. I am not happy with what Netflix does to shows and adaptations. It's a whole can of worms if I discuss it. But the censoring and the changing of things is what I don't like. That's all. I wish things were more faithful to the source material than anything. But I do enjoy how convenient it is to watch, though. Their little like carousel stuff and just browsing categories.
Yeah.
I think you would. What shows would I have on Gebflix? A lot of things I can't say on TOS, and I would probably anger a few nations if I do. Something about Wadia and. Yes. Let's go back to buying DVDs. Ah, yes, optical storage media. Or if you accidentally drop it on the ground and it scrapes, that's it.
Yeah, I remember trying to like fix. I remember like watching, say, the Barbie movie over and over and over as a little kid.
What do you get when you cross
I dropped it one time, like, oh no. My twin like Googled it, like, oh yeah, try to use toothpaste to fix that.
Oh, God.
Did it work?
It didn't work.
No.
It didn't work. 100%.
No.
Ugh.
No.
VHS. Did you know I actually did have a VHS player with an auto rewinder in Seek? It had a funny little dial that you could like do that to scrub through the video and whatnot. It's with my ring finger. What's this? Cheaty has decided to remove the decimal point that our Lord of Evil has worked so hard on to put. Oh my, oh my. Diskity disk this. So close to, just off by 10. Beth is gonna donate 9.99. Yeah. You know, like those people paying cash over at the supermarkets or gas stations. They give you like the
yeah.
$20 and then the rest is like coins they have to rummage through. and then it takes forever.
Yeah, I think that.
It takes forever for them. Hold on, I have some change. And like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Or like they just hand you the bill and like give you like a bunch of like obscene instructions, like, oh, I wanted this certain amount of pennies, you know.
Oh. What?
Or like say the cashback comes to like a handful of change.
Oh my goodness.
So you try to hand it to them and you accidentally drop it and then, oh God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, here it's the same thing. Like they would purposely give a big bill so that they would be given spare like $1,000, for example, and then the item just costs $50.
We can't even do that.
It's $50, so you get like a lot of $100 bills. Speaking of what, Beth has decided to go correct what just happened, and thank you so much. We're almost halfway to surviving the month, and then you see my monthly quotas are a little different nowadays. We have the bills, and then after the bills, we can start working on goals. Like maybe before I turn 70 years old, I can actually have an Africa twin or something fancy I can call my own. It's a motorcycle channel that I'm 100% not gonna jump. Yes.
I'll make sure of it.
Yeah. Certainly. Just make sure me and Fluffy like don't meet up IRL, because if two biker friends get together, ideas start forming in each other's heads and speed gets
And then
involved.
someone's got to find a way to the ER.
And the ER is a plausible biking destination and the end of the road trip. Yup. What's this? Wallow has decided to give the gift of 50% taxed bitties. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's so, but to be fair, I do like seeing bits. It's just sad how, like, it just gets sliced in half because of. Never mind. I'm not supposed to complain. Why? Because I'm able to use a streaming platform for, well, free essentially, right? There's no like initial fee I have to pay just so I can go live. And I believe that matters a lot. Yeah, the cut is enormous, but what can we do, right? Anoni Rodent has decided
3
to
months
put
away.
the thing in a funny number. My goodness. 369.69. Somebody take a screenshot of that and post it over at the Discord. That'd be funny. Speeding isn't the problem. Stopping quickly is 100%. That's exactly what the problem is. You see, you can go as fast as you want, 3,000 miles per hour. But as long as you have enough room to slow down, then you're fine. But if you go that fast and only have, let's say, 8 inches worth of space to go from that speed to zero, that's when problems occur. $69 viewers and money. And that's why cars have crumple zones. I think the crumple zones can only help you so much until you yourself gets crumpled as well.
Turn into that crumble zone. Yep.
Yes. Crumple zones. That's true. It's the rapid stop. It's the super rapid stop. There we go. Who needs crumple zones when you get the steel box and other people's crumple zone? I think that is the beauty of older vehicles. Nowadays, people design cars and whatnot to be squished, folded like tissue paper. Back then, vehicles were very sturdy, and if you get rammed, you ram them back inadvertently because you do not crumple. Yes, attack. Volvo, though, I know is reputable for being the safest, absolute, most protective unit of a car brand there is. Well, coming from the boyfriend of my sister who owned a Volvo before, he kept on yapping about it. Beth says break is sadly over, but I'll be watching the donations like a hawk. Oh, please, Beth. That's already at oh my.
Hmm.
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 Must be the IRS or something. Good luck at work. I went home early because I wasn't feeling well. Wallow, as much as you're enjoying my stream, I think it would be better if you would go get some rest. Right? Let's take this thing off real quick. Upsy daisy. Oh, here, that's a bit of a problem. Let me chat. There we go. Yeah, just sorting a few things. Like my cable. Where were we? Imagine rest. Mitzi, are you able to solve your rather acoustically performing air conditioning yet? It would be terrible having a ringing or buzzing or a constant drone coming from something that's supposed to make you comfortable during a good night's rest. I like how Blue Scales, instead of just calling the person my friend, Blue Scales has to be very specific that it's the girl best friend. Ah, yes. Gotcha, Blue. Time check. 2 hours and 11 minutes. Oh, hasn't been that long, Vesp. We're almost at our 2 hour and a half mark. I wonder, should I? Yeah, I probably will end stream on time. And, should we invite some friends over? Some people?
Sure.
For a little community meet, I wonder. It has been a while after.
Again,
but
up to you.
yeah, no. I'm sure Axel and the rest can do their own thing. I will be lingering over at VR chat for a bit though, because I do plan on getting a mental refresher here in the virtual world. Yes, let's. I hope you do actually get your full body tracking working this time. I look forward to seeing it. $27%, huh? That didn't get charged properly. Easy to solve. I thought she got it working. I need to find a proper space for my base stations first. Time to get it running. Come on, I have 20 more minutes in my live anyway before I go, so yes. Why is it so easy to accidentally fall asleep? Asked Tweety Bird on the couch, but super hard to fall asleep on purpose at the bed. Maybe because you're putting conscious effort into going to sleep in comparison to simply the sleep. It might happen. And it does happen. Right? If you're anticipating sleep, you put your mind into it, you don't fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
But in the couch, you
So
just
say sometimes.
Yeah.
So say sometimes you do want to sleep, but you don't want to think about actually going to sleep. So what my grandpa would do, he'd turn on say something like How It's Made. You can watch for a bit, but slowly. It's not very intrusive. It's not very loud. You just start to fall asleep. So he'd just divert his consciousness, his thoughts away from, okay, yeah, I want to take a nap, to, oh, okay, let's watch some How It's Made, and fall asleep that way. It's also how he would trick my siblings and I into getting a nap when we were kids.
Tweety Bird chimes in. I think on the couch you're relaxing. But when you want to go to bed, you try to force it. It makes you think about everything. Ah, yes, where you're just lying down and then you're contemplating.
Nice and cozy. Oh, wait.
Fine.
Did I remember to do this?
You start thinking of things.
Or remember that embarrassing thing you did 5 years ago?
Oh,
That sort of thing.
embarrassing thing 5. Oh. I think most embarrassing moments occur when it's your initial, like, well, for example, when you meet somebody and then you vibe and the
Mhm.
first few times you're together is when you interact a little differently compared to when you're like friends for years and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or
what's
say
this?
you do something silly and you end up getting made fun for it, then it becomes embarrassing.
Oh, Wallow seems to have shaken her pocket a little bit more, and a bunch of coins in the form of subscriptions have come flowing our way. Thank goodness. I mean, rather, thank you. Try to remember it for tomorrow. Doran says, oh, good. I just look at the numbers and decimals. It is beautiful. Unfortunately, Beth is preoccupied with work and unable to correct such a thing. And we're ending in 20 minutes, no? 15 at this point. Sweet, I figured out the Discord. That took me forever and I feel like an idiot. I think 100% of the people that weren't able to solve it within the first day has the same feelings as you do. Oh no, what's happening? Yeah, boss, this is you if you like lasagna 100%. How did. What the heck did Seal make? Why am I an orange guy? He turned me into Garfield. Oh my god. Okay. That's that's a little creepy but funny at the same time. Yeah, look at the other channels later. I will limit my alt tab time. What's this? Gebu,
Oh.
if it don't take much for you to fall asleep, does it?
Mm.
No, not really. Like you see, the thing is, when I'm sleepy, I pretty much obey my body and I go to bed. Unlike other people who will power through it using like nasty things such as energy drinks and whatnot. I am not a big fan of forcing your body to stay awake when it desperately needs some rest. First
It's
time
better in the
popping
long run
love
to
the
just
vibe.
get your sleep anyway.
Yep. Hi, Jay
Sorry.
Carter. Lit says, I actually need to take care of some stuff first before I can attempt on getting VR. Well, you have 15 minutes, Lit, so take your time. You'll do the things you need to do. My goodness. Be able to just. I'm so tempted to lie down, chat.
Need more hours?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm awake. I'm 100%. At least I figured it out, says Iron Wolf. I feel like trying to solve world hunger would have been easier, but I can understand the security. If you think about it, the password is right there. Very simple to solve. I'll go lie down later, Chan. My trackers might start bugging out if I attempt to do so now. Can't vouch it's gonna stay that way. Yes, Axiom, hello. I am still here. Oh. So you gotta look anyway. Let's see. If I go like lean like this. Wow. Don't look at the rest of my body. So many goober friends, says Axiom. Let's do this for like 2 minutes. Just rest my back. I keep on snapping into the. I'm good. Bad posture, Chan.
My trackers thankfully don't do that. But I don't feel like going down.
Whoa. Oh my goodness. Start. Uh-oh. Scratch, huh? Of course for you. Why not? Man. The yawns are coming in left and right. Which means I do need to end in 8 minutes. Before you go, a bad life advice about what, Iron Wolf? You have to give me context on what you need. Wisdom when? Will there be a community hangout after stream? Probably. I'll be in VR chat in an hour. I don't know if you're gonna be there. I probably will until my trackers run out of battery. I am currently running on 46%. I just had to troubleshoot a couple of hours before, so. Wow, sheesh. Yippee, you get to make fun of me in person again. That's how you know I like you, right? Bad marriage advice. What about marriage? Though marriage isn't something I'm really keen on doing. I mean, I think of it more of a ceremonial act more than anything, not a marker for love. Never really thought about that. What advice can I give?
It's pretty much relationship advice, but it's just a legal binding, basically.
You know, you have me stopped. I have no marriage advice whatsoever. Goodness me. Whether good or bad. You get Gib and I get Vespi making fun of me. I don't make... please, I just poke some playfulness your way. You know that. You're
not being mean.
I would love to get married to my current. BF says Wallow. Besties for 5 years, dating for 2. Met in high school. Look at that. Such a nice long straight road in which you've been walking side by side ever since. I wish you a most happy of marriages. Wallow. I may have the remnants of a British accent, says Doran, but it's not that bad. You kinda sound like an ex-friend of ours, he was saying. You would see him growing in the woods after a rain. It's simple, says Axiom. Just keep reorganizing the entire kitchen every month. So it's more fun to do the side quest of finding where the strainer is. I think
Yeah,
the accent I like would be the Irish or the Scottish. I am just charmed by it. I don't know. I mean, I do like dwarves in like the setting of Dungeons and Dragons in Faerun. It's and them having the cliche like Scottish dwarven accent it has been ingrained in my head. Unfortunately, Doran, it is still very predominant. Your British accent. Whether for good or for bad. What's this? Iron Wolf says, my husband and I started as a hookup and we both fell hard, dated for 7 months, and then got married on his birthday. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's been the best thing in my life through all the ups and downs. Congratulations on a happy relationship. I'm curious though, when you say you started up as a hookup, like, you guys were just bored one day and decided to be adventurous? It's like, hey man, I'm bored. Wanna watch some stuff on a streaming platform of choice? Full body, yeah, sure. I mean, I've been having bad posture since earlier. You know what? I need to stretch anyway, so. Ow, wow, 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 wee, wow. Yep.
I headbutted my fan. Whoops. Blanket in the bed too.
A little bit of a walk. Okay, here's my tiny little chair. Helix says I'm on day 9 of a new home. Hard to sleep. Well, I'm on day what? Well, streaming. Done with move-ish. So, if anything, I'm sleeping way better here compared to my apartment previously. Aside from the mattress quality, the fact that I don't have so much white noise going around and that I have much more room is something I did not know I was lacking. System alert, says my Quest Pro. Your controller shut down. Wow, I'm not even using the Quest Pro controllers. Why did they?
Just,
Upgrades.
yes. Don't get me wrong, I don't have the same controllers he has now, so I still get to deal with the whole woo woo woo.
Indexes. Can't even make a proper rectangle. I found a way to compensate his healings. A body pillow, emphasis on SFW, and sleep in VR. So I take it you have a comfortable headset like a Quest 2. I see. I have the Meta Quest 3s as well. I gotta save up for a better Quest. The Quest Pro, like this or that. Vesper's got a Quest Pro. He has face tracking the same as me. Yes, the default jaw left and right. I have the Vive Pro, says Iron Wolf. I kind of want to upgrade though. I mean, go ahead. What's stopping you? Aside from money. Paulo says, I'm wondering if GameStop will let me trade it in and pay the difference, right? You're lucky you have stores in which trade-ins are accepted. Here I don't know any place in the Philippines that does such a thing. You go for the second-hand market for such transactions. Helix says, Quest 3 actually. I have nice pillow and hair that belongs in the 80s. Those two combined. I see. Yes, I'm not joking. I got the Vive Focus Vision and returned it the day it arrives as Reed. The heck? Wow, look at... Meta is giving me some weird pop-ups and saying my controllers are blowing up and everything. I'm gonna put it here. You're getting unplugged, you're getting unplugged. Money's the issue, says Iron Wolf. I spent 1.5k on the Vive Pro a year ago. But now the Vive Focus is out and I'm like, why? Well, there is a nice option that's in development. There's the Big Screen Beyond 2E. Though their eye tracking has yet to catch up in fidelity. So, wow, whoa. Okay, Meta, you really find a way to bother me even though I'm gonna throw away those controllers later. Yeah, I don't use them anymore. I just will finish my... Neon, just go do your thing. You should. Hold on one sec. I need to know what is causing it. Are both my controllers still awake? So I'm gonna hold this, try and shut it down.
Oh.
Yeah, what's up?
It was teleport us.
Oh, whoops.
Thank you, Meta. Oh.
I'm still here. Yeah, I turned it off.
I knocked something off my desk and scared myself.
Oh, shit.
Also, someone's a little bit over time.
Are you telling me to end stream? I mean, I can.
I don't know, Chad. Do you want him to go?
Hello, Storm. Hold on. You know, chat, I'm gonna play it smart today, and probably this stream and my next stream and my next stream until I get like my USB thing to run my trackers properly will have to be me taking things easy. It also means I should not go overtime. With that being said, I will probably go meet you guys at the community meetup that may or may not happen after stream, depending on who's gonna go and whatnot. If the group is too big, I probably will not have the social battery for it and I'll quickly clunk out. So, a bit of a dilemma on that. But you guys are more than welcome to hang out with each other. Don't let me just be the focal point of things when it comes to VR chat interactions. There are lots of lovely people out there who will surely enjoy your company. Eternal Fox says, have a good day, Gab. Great actually watching you. Well, of course, thanks. I'll be back day after tomorrow. It's Monday. Well, it's technically Tuesday now, but I start my streams on Mondays and start again on Wednesdays. And then on Fridays. Great first impression. I've been seeing that a lot as comments on my videos. Is that a new trend or something? I mean, thanks. By the way, if you wanna join the community hangouts, you have to be bare minimum join the Discord, and you also have to be in the VR chat group, the Gebos' Shadow Guild group, and then you can be there. It's a little screening process I do. I'm not a big fan of meeting strangers, in all honesty. I have to have the bare minimum of familiarity, which is me seeing the introductions of the people that are gonna join. Can't blame a guy for being careful, right? Where do I find that? Well, the Discord link has been scrolling a lot ever since. You can type !Discord, it might work.
That's what I was about to say. Eb's got things set up. So really, it's just an exclamation point for literally anything you probably need. So
Yeah.
socials, Discord, tip.
Yes. You don't want to meet the weirdos. Yes. I am very upfront if I don't like you or not, chat. I don't sugarcoat things. So don't take offense. I think you would prefer the painful truth than a sugar-coated lie, right? Like, if we don't vibe, I'm not gonna waste both of our time. I'm just gonna say, you go hang out with the others. I think we're good. Or like, you're just kaput, fine. Go somewhere else. Because I have run into many instances in which I've forced people to... No, not forced, rather. I've tolerated people who were forcing themselves to be in the same crowd as the others, and they were clearly making the other people uncomfortable because their vibes were just completely different from the rest of the people in the room. So that didn't end well. So right now, as early on as possible, if I like have a little whiff of not so goodness, yes, there are hundreds, thousands of groups out there that you can mingle with instead. If you don't work with mine, I will take no offense, don't worry. Is the VR chat hangout in the Discord? No, you simply have to join the Discord and then fill in the introductions of yours. You know what I haven't done the entire evening?
Hmm.
Alright, my ring finger's not working. Nah. I've done that already, so good. Alright. Next, you gotta join the VR chat group. I'm not sure like the idea of you smelling. Oh, trust me. Extremely averse to negative, like bad scents. Like, if I smell you bad, first impression, I will never talk to you again. And because the reasons like you don't shower like at least once a day, or you don't shampoo, don't use deodorant, you and I can never be friends.
Yeah, unless there's like a medical reasoning behind it for first meet, like say you had a surgery and you gotta use like a sterile soap instead of like your normal like floral scented.
By the way, I'm talking about people that have the means to be hygienic, but they choose not to be. All right, I'm exempting like people who are absolutely poor though, that can't. Look, if you can afford a computer, you can afford to play VR chat, you can afford deodorant. It's that simple.
It's sort of like say, oh, people bring up like, hey Gab, are you willing to go to a convention? Are you willing to you know? If you can like say, like I know in the past people have asked you, would you ever consider attending a furry convention? Likely answer, no, because hot and sweaty, number 2, and yeah, you could really make a living off of deodorant there.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, chat. I just don't get why people. So there's one small pet peeve of mine that is specific to the furry community, and that's when people like use the joke that they use the word stinky. You're stinky and whatnot. Right? It's one. Do you even know how I smell? 2. Do you smell good yourself? And 3, I think some people enjoy smelling bad, which I can never wrap my head around. So please, anything but that. I cannot live without my morning shower. I find, let me stress this. If you like smelling stinky things, I will deem you absolutely disgusting and you have no place anywhere near me. Hard statement. Like, I draw a hard line there. Like, I'm so averse to bad smells and bad hygiene in general. I cannot stand it. And watch my viewer count go down. Good and good riddance. Never drop by my stream again. What's this? Wallow says, I used to have a friend who refused to take showers often. It was so hard to be. Yuck. There have been some USA furry cons that people will go buy hundreds of the little $1 deodorant sticks and bars of soap and hand them out for free. I would make a killing selling deodorant in cons here, probably. I would probably die in the process too. Hello, Ivan. Dude, you're awesome. Oh, trust me, I do not coddle people. I don't sugarcoat things. I told you if I don't like you, I don't like you. And I'll be constructive about it. I'll tell you why. And I won't waste both of our time. Like, please, just discover the joys and enlighten yourself with what a shower is. And then maybe we can revisit the possibility of being friends. Yeah. Eee. Iron Wolf said I had a friend who refused to take a shower, claiming he was allergic to water. Allergic to
Do
water.
you know how rare that is? That is like 1 in 3 billion.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. Your friend's an absolute liar. No. The friend that, quote unquote friend, is a liar. Same goes for drinking water. Hydrate or dihydrate.
Maybe they have rabies, you know. Did they have like hydrophobia or something?
Yes, you're foaming from the mouth and of actively avoiding water. Okay.
Yeah.
Get away from other people if you got rabies then. Eesh.
You like someone, you bully them in a friendly way. That's true. Wallow understands my frankness, saying she's appreciative. She would rather have somebody honest than be fake around. I can't. Yeah, sure, there's the whole extra sprinkle of courtesy. For example, you're meeting somebody, as you should. You know, you do the good manners with talking with somebody the first time. But extending past that and just faking it is clearly a waste of energy for you both. I'm covered in aerogel. I'm waterproof. Aerogel. Oh, is that the super light substance? My sister is allergic to salt water. Salt water. No beaches for her then.
Better we still be taking showers though.
Oh yeah, 100%. Speaking of rabies, hello Sir Rabe. Hello Howler, a little on the tail end of things in stream, but welcome all the same. Hi. Hey, I'm extending stream. I've started the rant again right as I came back. Vesper, how about you go say goodbye to the people? Come on.
Alright. Bye, chat. Stay safe, stay hydrated, and take care of yourself, okay?
Also wish Howler isn't blind. He said something happened to his eyes. Something weird.
Oh boy.
Well, it's been not so great actually, because I'm kind of tired and sleepy. It's been nice seeing you again, Chad, and it's lovely reuniting with my viewers. Mostly those that are regulars, and then we also have a bunch of new ones like Wallow and whatnot. Clearly, such a delight every time I go live. You will see me again in around 48 hours, 2 days from now. And I hope to have more energy by then, yes. I usually go do my little extras after stream where I check other people. But for now, I think I'm gonna save the energy for the people that I'm gonna bump into via chat right as I end my live. With that being said. Also, yes, thank you, Iron Wolf. Mitzi. Wallow. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. And good night. See you day after tomorrow, Chan. Let's all recharge and do the things we need to do, alright? See you then. Bye-bye. Let's get your full body working. I know you're watching.